Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another edition. Are you kidding? It's weekly wow time. Weekly wow. Weekly words of wisdom. That spells wow. In case you guys were wondering, words of wisdom. If you turn it upside down, it's mom. If you do that in reverse, it's mom. And if you turn that upside down, it's still wow. Moms, you get our wows. But here's the thing. Weekly words of wisdom on how do you get referrals by speaking? You know, what a great concept. We have this concept within the generosity generation called each one, teach one. And one of the things that these two are masters at are teaching. And I truly believe that you cannot master anything without teaching it. I believe in study, practice, teach. Study, learn, figure out what it is, practice it. Put it in practice and then teach it. Each one, teach one. And that's a central theme of today's weekly wow. And the wow that I hope you get is to truly learn something the best. You should probably opt in on teaching it. So today's lesson, I want you to take it to heart. I want you to take one piece out of the weekly wow today and teach it to another person with it. It can be a realtor, it can be a broker, it can be a kid, it can be your mom, it can be anybody. And you could teach it to them by what you learned today. And trust me, you are going to learn a lot today from these two gentlemen. But before I introduce them, just to make them hang and you hang ever so perilously on the cliff. So I want you guys to know that thank you for November. We've added about 780 some members to the Generosity Generation group in the last 10, 11 days. And a lot of that is because of you spreading the word about Note-vember. It's not November. It's not even Yes-vember. It's Note-vember. And we are giving thanks in the month of Thanksgiving. We are spreading appreciation. I will tell you that it's already happening in a big, big way. We are making the world a better place. You are making the world a better place by writing handwritten notes to those that you appreciate. Each and every day, I give you a video and a little memory jogger on who to write. You don't have to write that person. You can write anybody you want. But in the end, you will have 30 notes done in 30 days. 30 notes, that's it, in 30 days. Join Note-vember now by going to your browser window and window. That's my Kansas coming out right there. So go to your window, go to your browser window and type in Note-vember, Note-vember, Note-vember.com, or you can go to bit.ly/ all lowercase Note-vember, Note-vember.com. Make it happen. 30 notes in 30 days. It's not too late to join. You can join by Friday. So make it happen. All right. So today we are going to talk about how do you get referrals by speaking? How do you get referrals by increasing your influence? And we're going to talk about how do you increase your influence? How do you increase your speaking ability? And I want you to know, yeah, I have 2 CRTs on today. Of course, I have 2 CRTs today. Today may come as a veiled advertisement for certified referral training. And you know what? I'm not going to apologize for that because I'm super proud of it. And I will tell you, as I introduce Roger Savy, I want everybody on here to know that Roger is a super accomplished speaker. He's the Tony Robbins of the mortgage industry in many ways, especially on the West Coast. And I will tell you that when I designed CRT, I designed it in a way that I want this so good that Tony Robbins or Roger Savy could attend and get a ton of value out of it. This is not a watered down certification where you pay $5,000 and you fly somewhere to a resort and you hang out for 3 days and then you go home and you really didn't learn anything. This is intense. This is tough. This is like the Navy SEALs of speaking. And you know what? Some people don't make it. They don't make it through the certification, and that's okay. That, you know, they're not ready yet or whatever it may be. We've had that happen. But the first person I want to introduce today is Roger Savy. He is the Executive Vice President of the strategic partner development at Pinnacle Home Loans out of the Bay Area in California. He was also trained in clinical technology and has worked in local and international marketing and sales for over 30 years. Roger is a coach, motivational speaker, and sales trainer, and so much more. He gets people unstuck. He helps them achieve clarity, and then he helps them thrive. Roger, welcome to the Weekly Wow, brother.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. What a fabulous introduction. I'm excited to be here.
And you've seen the human heart like in person, right?
I've held that human heart in person. I'm a perfusionist, my original mustering, and I keep patients alive when the surgeon operates on the heart. And I've looked for my soul and couldn't find it, but in there is the workings, and it's got a throb and a beat, and it's filled with passion.
You're already starting, dude. You're already on fire.
Yeah.
I tell people all the time, like, I sometimes think of myself as a heart surgeon. What I do is I cure calloused hearts, right? People have to callous their heart. They have to put up they have to go through the scabs of, overcoming objections and throwing out lines they would never want thrown to them. And they have to harden their soul to rejection all the time. And guess what? You don't have to be that way, right? We're going to cure those calloused hearts. Yep. You're going to be able to have a heart. But I mean, that's just a metaphor, brother, compared to you actually helping people, helping them survive by helping them with their real heart. So
thanks, Michael. Yeah. Love it.
So the other person I have on here is one of my favorite people in the world. I've known Don a long time. He is a Star Power star, which was not even listed in his bio. And that's a huge accomplishment in itself. Only 250 people ever were Star Power stars. Don is a 4th generation realtor, obtaining his real estate license at the age of 16 years old. He's got to be one of the youngest realtors ever at that time. Today, Don's works with his family team, the McNaughton real estate team in Northwest Arkansas, with his mother, the legendary Terry Lynn McNaughton, and his wife, the not yet legendary, but will be Christy McNaughton. Don is also currently the president of the Northwest Arkansas Association of Realtors, a very, very progressive, very, very amazing association of realtors. Don McNaughton, welcome to the Weekly Wow.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I'm in great company here. I always learn tons from you and Roger both. So I'm just humbled and honored to be part of this group.
Well, Roger and I both learn a ton from you as well. And, that's the beauty of this arrangement, I feel, is that, Roger came as an accomplished speaker to CRT. He came, and I believe he even got value, and I'd love for him to speak to that value. Yeah. And then Don, I felt like when you came to me, you were a really like a rising star speaker. Like you were in the area where you were speaking some, but not enough. And then you came to CRT, and it was like watching somebody polish a heart. It was just like, boom, boom, boom. It was, the light was on, and you were on fire, and you went out and got a black shirt literally the day before you spoke and knocked their socks off. And ever since then, you've been speaking and taking leadership roles. And now you're the president of Northwest Arkansas Realtors. Yep. So I'm going to start with you is, this is a point blank question that I'm genuinely curious about, is why'd you become a CRT? Why become a certified referral trainer?
So I believe in total transparency. So it started with a relationship. Of course, I have a relationship with you, Michael. I've known you forever. I also have been good friends with Toril for a long time. So Toril and I were talking, and she says, I'm going to become a CRT. Michael's got this new thing. It's a CRT. She's like, I'm going to be a CRT and start speaking. She's like, you should do it with me. And I was like, okay, Toril. I was like, I'll do it with you. I mean, I love you, Michael. I was like, that's fine. I'll do it. And so I think there was a little Zoom call, and we listened to it, and you said sign up. And so I signed up, assuming that Toril was going to sign up. And I text Toril. I said, did you sign up? She said, I can't go that day. I have a wedding.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what do you mean you have a wedding? I was like, you said you were doing it. She's like, well, there's a wedding on that exact day. I can't go.
Yep.
And I was like, well, okay. I was like, well, then I'll go and learn for both of us. So I went, and it was phenomenal. I mean, absolutely phenomenal. And so I went back again for the second time, and I called Toril. I was like, "Are you going?" And she's like, "I'm out of the country that time." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" I was like, "This is twice now, Toril." I was like, "I'm not putting up with that." So ultimately, it's a relationship. Is that she said, "I'm going to do this. You should do it with me." And I thought, okay, let's give it a shot. Really didn't know what I was getting into, but I knew that I needed to learn. We run our business by the systems in your book. We always have. And I thought, what better way to really hone in on that? But like you say, is to teach it. I thought I will get better at doing it if I teach it. I didn't know how bad I was at doing the systems in the book until I became a teacher of it. And then I was like, oh, now after CRT, I was like, I really am 1,000 times better. And I think I have plenty more to learn, but I'm 1,000 times better at doing the concepts in your book just from taking this CRT class. Yeah, so if that's all you got, you weren't ever going to speak, it's worth that. It's like going to the Olympics and learning how to pole vault all at once.
Yeah. Yep. Wow. I love how you put that. I mean, it honestly, I love that you started with the relationship because, that's how I get all my clients anyway. I mean, that's how I get all my real estate clients. All the clients for ReferCo are all referrals. So somebody had the relationship, and a lot of times they come in not trusting me, but in trusting the relationship, the person in the relationship. And then all of a sudden, now you knew me well enough, hopefully, that you trusted me somewhat. You're running.
I did. I absolutely trusted you. I hadn't heard of it. And so Toril said, "Hey, this is happening. Why don't you do it?" I'm like, "Okay, it's Michael. We love Michael. Of course we'll do it."
Yeah. And that's what I love about the CRT group that I did not quite understand as much is how it's become like a family. What we've done is kind of like take the best of the best in the generosity generation and the people who are in growth mode and learning mode, and we put them together, and it's just amazing when somebody has an issue or somebody has a need, we're so fast and to respond and so quick to help. And I really didn't know that this group would become such like a family. And I think you kind of touched on a big reason for that is it started with the relationship. It really started with the relationship. And then we all went through something that was really hard, and was worth it. So, Roger, this is going to be maybe a different answer, right? Is what motivated you or inspired you to attend Certified Referral Trainer?
Michael, it started in 2011. I was running a sales meeting in Bellevue, Washington, and one of my loan originators said, "You should read this book. You should contact Michael Maher." And I started an investigation, and I spoke to you, and you came and spoke to our company in Washington State. Well, I think it was early 2012, maybe end of 2011. And are you kidding me? With your energy, it sparked something inside me that when Michael starts to talk, it's a ball of energy. And I recognized something about that in myself. But what I saw is that you knew how to take that energy and focus it. I seemed to be firing in all different directions. And I suddenly thought, there is something in this for me. And then you and I worked together a couple of times as the years went on. And I attended some of your seminars, your boost seminars with my loan officers. And so that information was seeping in. And when the concept of the CRT was floated, it was a no-brainer. I had to attend. I knew I had something to share. I knew I had gifts, but it wasn't polished and it wasn't focused and it didn't have direction. And I got to tell you, even though I was a fairly good speaker, I arrived with trepidation and my growth began again. And today, my sphere is huge because influence is leadership. If you have influence, you have leadership. And that people come to me and say, "Roger, have you got a referral in Texas?" And I can reach into this family of knowledge and enhance other people's lives. Wow, that's just flat out awesome. And that's the reason I went and will be back.
Wow. That's great to hear. And I will tell you that having you at the event made it a better event. I will tell you that for sure, because it made me a better teacher, knowing that you were in the audience. And we had to deliver value, right? I was editing things up until midnight to make them even better, so very much appreciated. And Don, go ahead. Yeah.
Being around people like Roger at the CRT makes me step up. I'm like, I got to be better. I'm like, cause I go there and I'm like, Roger's an amazing speaker. And I'm like, I got to do better. And so, yeah, the reason I bought a black shirt, you said you should always speak in a black shirt. And I thought, well, at least I'll get that right. I can at least dress the part if I don't do anything else right.
And I
appreciate you, Roger.
Yeah. Well, and Don, I'm in awe of what you do. I love your reflective nature, the way you speak, because there's a thought behind every single word. It's well thought through. But I want to segue to that black shirt that you and I are wearing. Michael has made sure all my brown suits have gone out to pasture. They now sit in the closet. I don't wear them anymore because it doesn't frame me properly.
That's right.
And I came home and I said to my wife, I love my brown suits, but they're gone for speaking purposes. And all sorts of new nuggets arrived.
Well, and that's from research, right? That's not a Michael Maher thing. That's a research thing, right? Is that if you want to sell something, if you want to, which you are when you're in front, no matter what, you're selling something, you're selling your ideas, you're selling their attention, or you're hopefully having them pay with their attention. So black and blue, right? So you want to wear black or you want to wear blue, and black has kind of become that speaker color, if you will. And it's not a bad thing, right? It's slimming. It's not distracting. Some people they're wearing stuff on the stage that's so distracting that I have trouble, what is their message, know? So I love that. And so that's one of the things that you learned, and it seems so small, but here's the thing. How much do you worry about what you're wearing when you go to the stage? The answer is hopefully it's zero. Because you're wearing the right thing. And then all of a sudden, okay, I'm not going to worry about my hair. I'm not going to worry about my clothes. I'm just going to focus 100% on the audience. And that's really what I hoped that we got out of CRT, is just like, it's all about the audience. It's not what you teach, it's what they learn. Thank you, Howard Brinton. Right.
Yeah.
So,
and Michael, can I add something there as well to what you and Don just said? The other thing I learned was you spoke about, before you get up to speak, what is the transformation that you want people to walk away with? And you harped on that. What is the transformation? And that keeps me on track. It's like a touchstone. Am I on track? And am I staying on what the objective was? And that helps me then frame what the talk is going to be called, what they will walk away being able to do. And it allows way more gravitas, and it structures me. I feel I bring something to the meeting because I know what the transformation is going to be. And I so appreciate that.
Yeah, that's such a powerful, that's such a powerful word in everything that I do, right? I believe that, everybody's talking about, hey, you got to go from transactional in your real estate business to being relational. And it's like, okay, that's good. That means you care, right? But there's a lot of people who have it and it's relational, but they still aren't getting referrals. They still aren't. And it's like, we need to think differently about the real estate transaction. And that is, we need to go from transactional through relational to transformational. We have an amazing opportunity in 45 days to, in some cases, 9 months or longer for a build job. And I tell you, I love build jobs. It gives me longer to build I have a great excuse to call every week for 9 months. Are you kidding me? Give me a bone. That's it.
Yeah.
But what we want to do is we want to transform the lives of the people who come in. They come in as a transaction, but they leave transformed. They are either better educated but there is a great relationship. They have someone that they can count on, and they have transformed from a transaction to an ambassador. They are literally somebody who is walking and talking on the street, and they are a brand ambassador for your company. And so here's the thing, right? Is all of our dealings, a Zoom meeting, a weekly wow, how are we going to transform the people that are watching today? I hope you go from curious about CRT to sign up for CRT. That's honestly what I hope people do. Or at the very least, they have enough education about CRT to not sign up and know it's not for them, right? So it's one of those, like, what is that go from blank to blank? The subtitle of 7L, I think I just gave away my copy of 7L. I used to have a copy in my studio at all times. There, the subtitle right there in Don's book, go from relationships to referrals. That's the transformative statement of 7L. And I want, listen, this might be your big wow. Roger, thank you so much for bringing this up. This might be everybody's biggest wow, is how does the transaction become transformative? How does the event that we have become transform? How do we transform people? And how do we transform them from however they live life to living a little bit better life because they know us, or because they're around us, or because they are part of our community? And I love that. And I, you know, Roger, is there a specific example? I hate to even put you on the spot with this. It's not on here. And then Don, I'll go to you. Is there a transformative phrase like go from blank to blank that has come up often in your teachings? Or what has that learning, that transformative thought done for your speaking?
For my speaking personally, Michael, the concept of go from relationships to referrals without having to speak to strangers, without having to buy leads from Zoom or Zillow, This, people in a world where the warm referral is everything, where it's about quality over quantity, how can you love and pour on people, pour into people, how to move air to their hearts, because feelings are more responsible for action than anything else. And the 7L system of contributing, building up that oxytocin in your blood until the reciprocity comes back at you because you poured into people. That was transformative. When people can build systems in their lives built only around people they know, it's a eureka moment in their lives.
Yeah, I love that. Don, how about you on the transformative phrase, which, by the way, is the centerpiece of CRT? Like, one of the very first things I talk about is, what is your transformative piece, your thought for the segment that you're going to teach, right? You're going to take them from where are the people, where's the audience coming from? What are their worries, concerns, challenges, goals, aspirations? And then where are we going to take them? Like, where we're going to give them hope, we're going to give them faith, we're going to give them a system, we're going to give them a strategy. Like, you know, that's the transformation that take the black box, if you will. So how about you, Don?
So I'm just a simple boy from Arkansas, and I spoke. You've seen spoke. You know, even spoke together way before the 7 Levels book came out and stuff. But I just got up there and talked. I did not understand or know that there needed to be a transformation until I went to CRT, and just the idea that there's a plan. You know, if you're going to do public speaking, there's a plan. You should go along this kind of plan, and that is going to get your point across. That was just huge. So now that when I'm going to do public speaking and I lay it out like that, it changes everything. Yeah. And I don't know that I want to be a full-time public speaker, but I know that I have to do public speaking. I think everybody really needs to be able to do public speaking, because there's going to be times in your life you're going to have to get up there and you're going to have to say something, even if it's a funeral. So, you know, and the idea behind that might be to make everybody feel a little better by the end of the day. So that was huge.
Or a wedding, right? So it could be a funeral, it could be a wedding, could be at Thanksgiving, it could be giving the prayer at Thanksgiving dinner, you know, which can be trust me, even for me, like, I'm a professional speaker, giving the grace at Thanksgiving is like a thing, right? So I get it. And, you know, and nothing else that makes you, more comfortable to know that you have a plan going in, versus, you know what, I'm just going to ramble and talk until somebody tells me to sit down. You know, not that you did that, of course, you always had a point, you know, but hopefully it gives a plan. Yeah. Roger, you wanted to add to that?
Yeah, but I wanted to add to that because Michael, Don is always so thoughtful with these things. You also taught us that when you are called to speak or you begin your presentation, how to make sure you're introduced well so that the crowd is already at a higher level, and then you can take them to that next level. You taught us that look, the way to get that feeling of something great is about to start. You also taught us that the crowd actually wants us to succeed. They don't want us to fail. Because when you start to fail, they go, oh my goodness, he's dying up there. No, you don't want to embarrass your audience. They want you to do well. And if you walk up there with confidence and you give them that look, and you don't just start off with a boring, hi, I'm Roger, that you start off with that hook that is pertinent to the transformation, then the success is there. You have them in the palm of your hand, and they will go with you on this journey because you believe it so passionately.
Yeah, the cook, the book, the look, and the hook, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, and I have to tell you that, you know, that's even something that I think about all the time. I mean, I guess that's the thing that I really like about teaching CRT is that it's made me a better speaker, and it's like I do it, you know, so I have the ability to say, all right, you know, here's the thing is when you get the cook, make sure it's this, you know, when you have the book, you know, make sure that it is like this. And when you do the look, here's a way to do it. And here's a way I've messed this up. And I have messed that up, you know, and then here's the hook, you know, and I've, you know, I've gotten a lot better at the hook, and that's something I always have to think about. And the nice thing is I can give you some suggestions on hooks, you know, that work, you know, and I'll tell you what, here's the thing is that some people, I know you're commenting below, and I can't necessarily see it because I don't have it up on my phone right now, but for those of you below is, you know, what are some great things you've seen speakers do? And what are some mistakes that you've seen speakers do? I want you that are watching this to comment what is, thank you, is, you know, there we go, right? You gotta have one of these on hand. Yeah. So Sherry just made this, right? Just downstairs. She just put it all together, snapped it together. And yeah. So so it's one of those where in like 30 seconds, I'm going to tell you all the secret to getting referrals. I'm going to tell the number one secret to getting referrals. I'm going to share that with everybody in 30 seconds. But before I do that, for those of you that are interested, go to 7lteachers with an S.com. You're not signing up for anything necessarily. You're just expressing your interest in becoming a speaker. Why are we doing this episode? We just did the summit. And I have to tell you, a lot of you attended, and it went really well. You got a lot of great ideas. But one of the number one questions that I got was, what's up with the black shirts and how do I speak at Referral Mastery Summit? Well, you got to be a CRT to speak at RMS. So how do you become a CRT? You go through the certification and you learn some of the nuances, the ins and outs of speaking. And you do that by going to 7lteachers.com to sign up. Now, some of you are talking about the mistakes you've seen speakers make. And some of you are writing in there, like, what's the best thing you've seen a speaker do? Like, what does Tony Robbins do that's great? What does, you know, certain people do that's great? You know, one thing that Tony Robbins does that I love is he brings the energy. Like, you're never going to be disappointed. You're not going to get up there and Tony's going to go like, hey, everybody, you know, it's so great to be speaking today. And I'm so excited to speak, you know, and you're not going to get that, you know, I mean, and honestly, I think a lot of people go see Tony Robbins speak just to borrow his energy for 2 to 9 hours or 3 days or whatever it may be. So, Sherry will be giving me your answers below as you're doing that. Once again, 7lteachers.com to sign up for CRT. And you can email any questions you have or put them below. We'll make sure we get those answered. Sherry at referco.com always works too. So how has being a CRT, oh, by the way, I told him I was going to give him the answer. Should I give him the number one secret to getting referrals? Like, this is it. Like, you might think, well, it's handwritten notes. It's November. Well, I will tell you that handwritten notes are awesome. And just so you know, I just had a conversation with a guy who was a little bit like belligerent about 7L. He wasn't a believer yet, right? And he was just like, well, you're telling me this is go from relationships to referrals. I'm going to get referrals by writing handwritten notes. And here's the thing that this is the thing that people get with 7L that some people don't get. Roger and Dawn get this. Like, people get, is that it's not writing a handwritten note that gets the referral. It's the fact that handwritten notes are a part of this ongoing relationship that is always in momentum. And people are always in the referral zone with you because the handwritten note is written the way it is with a PS. And the PS creates a call or a text. And that text or call creates another conversation, which creates another conversation, which you're always in conversation. And even if you don't talk to somebody for 6 months, you're still in a conversation, even though it's been 6 months, because you have something to talk about. So, it's one of those where, are you going to get more referrals by writing handwritten notes? Maybe a few, but are you going to get more referrals by writing power notes and staying in hundreds more, right? But the number one way to get referrals is to speak about getting referrals. The number one way to get referrals is to speak on referrals. Yep. That's it. I've never told anybody that before, but you're in front, you have influence, you have credibility, you're in front of the crowd. There is this thing about being on stage and being in front. And the number one thing you can do for your community is teach the business owners of your community how to get more referrals using the 7L system. What are they going to think? Like, you're talking to a bunch of business owners about, hey, here's a strategy, here's a system, and you give them like the 7 steps to a power note. And they're like, oh my God, this is great. Well, who are they going to think about when they think about real estate referrals or mortgage referrals? They're going to think about you when they think about the word referrals. That's a pretty good brand to have in the brain when it comes to you and your business. So, how has being a CRT helped your business? So, Roger, I'll go with you, and you can also talk about life if you want, business or life. And Don, I'll come to you.
Well, for my business, there's no doubt when people say to me, Roger, have you got a book that you refer? Because people seem to think that I have influence and therefore my suggestion would be good. I lead with, you have to read the 7 levels of communication. It's a love story. It's not written in the traditional way. That immediately catches their attention. Anyway, a love story, a sales and marketing book, that's a love story. And it allows me to flesh it out a little more. But on a business level, generally day to day, my sphere has increased tenfold. The access to content, 1,000% more. I can look at the way Don says something, the way Terracotta says something, the way Dan says something, Neil Smith says something, and I get little hooks, little nuggets. And so when I'm asked to speak, and I'm speaking to a crowd that I've spoken to before, I know that all that content is still in the direction, in the ethos of the 7 levels of communication. So I have a boundless supply of content delivered with my way of doing it, but always letting them know this is going to increase your sphere because somebody knows somebody who needs to know you. That crowbar separation in thinking, and I hammer it over and over again. Next minute, people call me and say, I don't fully understand, but your energy was enough to make me just want to call you. Do you have a coaching business? Yes, I do. So it helps dramatically.
Yeah, I love that. Don, how about you? How has being a CRT helped you in business and or life?
So I just want to say, I love how Roger explains things. I love how he explains stuff. That excites me. It helps me, Roger.
You're welcome, Don.
Yeah. How it's helped me. It's just given me tons more confidence. Confidence to be able to get up there in front of the room and say something. I was already kind of in the lineup to be a board president, Not really looking forward to that. Not because, I mean, that's going to have to be up there. I wanted to do a lot of things, but the public speaking side was not really something I was looking forward to. But that's given me the ability to do that. And I found myself doing public speaking a lot more because I have the confidence to know how. And someone's like, will you come speak? I'm like, sure, I'll come speak. Now it's Zoom. I'll Zoom with you. This is my third Zoom of the day. I've changed shirts 3 times. So it's, but I'm not scared. I'm not worried. And that's how it's helped me in life.
Yeah, 100%. I've definitely noticed you are always confident, but you're even more confident and polished, I would say is maybe a word, since CRT and since you've been speaking a lot more. And you're not just speaking to realtors, you're speaking to salespeople and business owners as well. I know that. So that's awesome. So, the next thing is so we have people, I know they're already expressing interest and they've expressed it. I know Karen Sharpless is somebody who's mentioned something about attending CRT and that they're maybe on the fence about it. What would you say to someone who was considering going to CRT? Now, this year it will be by Zoom, and I do have a cool surprise. I do have Renee Rodriguez, who is a speaker in the mortgage industry and elsewhere. And he has become a master of making online speaking an experience versus just, coming on a Zoom and talking. So he's going to talk about how do you maximize the digital experience in the digital world? How do you maximize your speaking in the digital world? And he's going to come on and make this CRT even better. Because he's going to show and tell you how to maximize the opportunity online. And I have to tell you, maybe the online opportunity is bigger, not just in the next 6 months or a year, but maybe forever. So I'm very excited to have Renee come in on the Thursday. The event is Wednesday, Thursday. It is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, excuse me. I believe it's the 11th, 12th, and 13th. I'll have to verify that. It might be the 10th, 11th, 12th. So the 10th, 11th, and 12th. And the 11th is going to be with Renee Rodriguez for a couple of hours. So it's going to be very, very cool. So Don, what would you say to someone who is considering it? You don't have to,
what's your little wristband? Do it now.
Yeah, there you go.
Do it now.
Yeah.
That would be my answer, is it just do it now. I mean, I'm just, the fact you told me that, I'm going to attend because I know that we got to make our Zoom meetings better. Because some of them are great and some of them are just absolutely horrible. So
yeah, don't sign up yet, by the way, because you're a CRT. We have a special link for you, just so you know. So to make sure you get into Renee's training. So that's awesome. So do it now is your words of advice. Maybe they need more from you, right? What else?
So
yeah,
we're either green. Yeah, we're either green and growing, or we're ripe and rotting. We have that on our wall here in the office. Tomatoes. So you're either green and growing, and then you get ripe and you're rotting. So if you want to build your career, your business, your life, get more confidence and being able to do things, I mean, that's why you should go to something like this. And it will explode beyond your wildest dreams or thoughts. I mean, you can go real calmly and think, well, I might learn a few things. And the next thing you know, you come back and you're doing some speaking somewhere, and you do such a fantastic job that all of a sudden 5 more people come up and say, could you come speak to our office? Can you come over and do us? And you're like, well, I didn't know that was going to happen.
Yeah. Well, you literally had that. Like, when was it, when we were in Atlanta, or was it when you got back that the furniture gentleman wanted you to speak to his salespeople? Is that an accurate timeline?
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I did. Again, with Michael helping, we wanted to help him as a business. So we, asked how we could help, and he said, why don't you come speak to my team? And so we did, and it was fantastic. And he's become a really good friend and a good client. And that has led to a whole bunch more opportunities for us. And yeah, it's blowing up. And we do, the reason I have a book here is that I buy these by the case, and I do share them with people. I just give them away. Is that I'm like Rogers, and I talk to someone and I'm like, you gotta you got to get this book. And, you know, people are like, well, where do you find it? I'm like, you find it right here. And I literally pull it out of my car or my truck, and I'm like, right here. And then I end up flipping to a few of my favorite pages, and I'm like, make sure you check this out. Make sure you check that out. But they love that. They love that I'm helping them. And yeah, then they think of us when they want to send referrals to somebody.
Yeah. Not only do they love that, but I just have to throw my 2 cents. I love that. I mean, that's fantastic. I love it.
And you know me, I would not do that if it didn't help people.
That's
if
right.
It did not
that's
help.
Right.
If it was a crappy book and it sucked, I wouldn't give it to anybody. I'd say, thanks for the book, Michael, but it helps people.
Yeah. Yep. And that is a huge endorsement from Don McNaughton. My book doesn't suck, and it's not a crappy book. And I'm going to put that on the back of the next edition. And I'm so excited about that. And in all sincerity, thanks a million for that. And, you know, being a CRT and spreading the word and spreading the love. And you're exactly right. You came back and you're like, I went to speaker training, and all of a sudden everybody's like, oh, you speak? You know, we want you to speak. And I love that that's happened. Well, Roger was already speaking, and I'm very interested, you know, what should someone attend CRT, or if they're on the fence about CRT, what should they do about that?
Michael, in this world, it's so easy to be average. It's so easy to be mediocre and just do what everyone else does. But the 3 headwinds that Don faces, that I face, that you face every day, and those that are on the fence, in a world where everyone is so distracted, you've got 4.5 seconds, the attention span of a goldfish. Number 2, everyone's doing the same thing, competition everywhere. And number 3, commoditization. Just pick the realtor or the loan officer who'll do it for the lowest price. They're all the same. If you wish to beat distraction, competition, commoditization, stop being average, stop being mediocre, this is the place to go to hone your skills. Otherwise, you are just seen like cows in the field, calm and gentle and nice and soft with no stopping power. You become the purple cow when you attend CRT. You stand out, you find your why, you find your purpose, you find your voice, you become and create a constructive tension, one that, not a destructive tension, a constructive tension that people go, oops, hang on, this is different. Then you've just beaten distraction and you stand out in people's lives, you influence, and that is leadership.
Go from hamburger helper to purple cow.
Yep.
I told you he said it better than me.
Oh,
fantastic.
That's why I always have him go last, Don. That's why I always have him go last, right? It's just like, have him go last, and it's going to be awesome. And then at the end, just go period, right? Just go, all right, that's our show. Thanks, everybody, for coming. So I'm actually going to do that right now. So, you know, any final words of wisdom, Don, on, you know, people, about speaking, about getting in front, or, you know, about, you know, what it takes to be a certified referral trainer, or any final words of wisdom at all, just on what's going on in our country right now or in the business right now?
It's a good question. I think you have a duty to get up and speak. You have thoughts in your mind, experiences. That's why I got on the board of realtors. I got in there and I realized that I did have some ideas and knowledge, and I needed to speak up. Otherwise, other people were going to be speaking up for me, and they didn't know what I knew. I'm not saying I'm brilliant. I'm just saying I have a life experience in certain areas that I'm like, I need to speak to this. So I think it's critical that you know how to get up and speak, more important than ever. And, going through some training to understand. I was always great at a listing presentation because there were steps. I knew the steps to a listing presentation. I knew how to do that. Done it my whole life. I don't know why I never thought about there was probably steps to speaking, but there is. So you ought to go learn them. You ought to learn and sometimes it's simple stuff. Having music, getting people excited a little bit, not being a boring meeting. And so I took those concepts and I applied those to my board of realtors monthly membership meetings. And we were nervous. I mean, the whole board, they all agreed with me that speaking was always boring. And they said, let's try it. And we did. And man, everybody loved it. And Of course, we adjusted it with COVID. We stepped up our game. We pre-recorded everything for our next meeting. So, and had teleprompters and a TV crew in there. So, I mean, we're doing things to make it interesting.
I'll tell you, if anybody here is on the board of realtors, they need to go visit, or they need to get involved in a Zoom with what Don McNaughton is doing in Northwest Arkansas. I've spoken at probably hundreds of boards over the years, and it was one of the best experiences I had, and it was one of the most professionally designed and looking events. Their stage prep is beautiful. Their registration process was seamless. The entire event, when there was an issue, it was solved very, very quickly, and there was a person who was there to solve it. And it just was, what you're doing with that board of realtors should honestly be the model for all boards around the country. I truly believe that. And
I appreciate that. I learned that from you. I mean, like, you got to have a stage, and I mean, we had a stage, but I mean, I learned that there was some.
I'll just say thank you. My wife's working with me on that, so I'll just say thank you. And I also know that you have more experiences than just mine. So it's one of those where you're taking the best of the best ideas and putting them in place, and that's something you've always done, and that's what people who are into mastery and growth and aren't red, ripe, and rotten, right, are doing. They're green.
So you have more experiences than just yours too. And that's why I love to come listen to you, is because I know it's not just what's in Michael Maher's head that we're being taught, is that you have spent a lifetime learning experiences, learning from other people, learning from top realtors, top lenders from all over the country, and you apply that. So when I go learn at your class, it's not all you. It's a lot of collective stuff that you've gained, and
absolutely.
I want to go to the best instructor. I don't want to go to someone that just came up with his own idea how you should speak on his own. I mean, So I'm sorry, but it's you, buddy. You're it now.
All right. So thank you. I'll say thank you. Thank you. Awesome. Roger Savy.
Yes.
This is the weekly words of wisdom. So what words of wisdom do you have for those that are listening to this, watching this? This is not only just today, Facebook Live, but this will be broadcast out to however many subscribers we have, and hopefully get tens of thousands of views, right? So what words of wisdom do you have for those that are listening?
When I first went to your CRT, the first training, you handed these out all those years ago. I never took it off my arm. I don't like gimmicks. Yeah. This gives me strength. It lets me know that I've got it. I'm okay. And I'm okay because you took all that static energy and you've channeled me into a direction where I can contribute in a much more positive and wholesome way to people's lives. Make them feel good. I'm in the business of making people feel good, and therefore I feel good. It's such a win-win to attend this, that Brandon Tracy, who I learned from, and he says he learns from me, has asked me to address his team on the 16th of this month, on the 30th of this month. He's got hundreds of realtors, other vendors, lenders, and he trusts me with their team. It all came. The genesis was at CRT, and I couldn't be more happy that that happened. So for those of you on the fence, this is a no-brainer. It's time to take your life up to a quantum leap.
Well, thank you.
I didn't think about that. You just got another speaking gig, Roger, because I want you speaking to my team. So
how do we get a hold of you, Roger? How does somebody get a hold of you to have you speak at their organization?
You can find me on LinkedIn, Roger Savy. I'm there all the time. If you type my name in Google, this funny accent pops up. You can find me. But for those that are listening, I'll give you my cell phone number.
Wow.
It's a Washington dialing code.
Wait a second. Okay. Are you sure you want to give your cell phone? I mean, this goes out to a lot of different countries, a lot of different people. So, I mean, seriously.
All right.
You got an email? I mean, no offense. Everybody's hating me right now that's listening because they were about ready to get your cell phone. But like, what's the best email to get a hold of you?
All right. I thank you for saving me then. It's my initial R, my last name, Savy, S-A-V for Victor, Y-R, Savy, at pinnacle-loan.com. R-Savy at pinnacle-loan.com.
And it's loan, L-O-A-N, not loans, L-O-A-N-S.
No, it's singular, loan. Yep. Thank you.
Okay. I love it. I love it. And Dawn, if somebody wanted to get a hold of you to speak or get in front of an address, I mean, if they have a board member that they should refer to you to learn how to run their board meetings better, how would they get a hold of you?
Yeah. My email is don@McNaughtonRealtors.com.
There you go. And it's McNaughton Realtors, REALTORS.com. And you guys should do that. Everybody that's listening to this should do this. Everybody that's watching this should do this. Man, our time flies when we're having fun. This is the weekly wow for today. I can't wait for next week's as well. You guys are going to love next week's. Make sure that you tune in at 1:00 for the weekly wow on Wednesday. We're going to do something pretty cool next week because it'll be in the middle of CRT. So what will we be doing on our Facebook Live weekly wow if we also have CRT? You're going to have to tune in to find out. So, ladies and gentlemen, hey, thanks, Roger. Thanks, Don. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been another edition of the Weekly Wow, a special broadcast of Referrals Podcast. Check it out at referralspodcast.com, or you can go to iTunes, Google Play, or Stitcher. Make sure you review it. Make sure you rate it. Make sure you share it. Make sure people know about it if you want referrals, if you like the Referrals Podcast. 2 websites that we mentioned today. You can go to November.com to sign up for November. And also you can go to 7lteachers.com to sign up for CRT. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. We'll see you next week on the Weekly Wow.